welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And you all know that Hampton is a very old city/county, more than 400 years, but one of our treasures is the public library, and it is turning 90 years old. So here to talk about that and some events and exhibits surrounding it are Valerie Gardner and Rita Scrivener. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is pretty cool, right? That's old for a public library.
Yes, it opened in July 1926 in what is now the Charles Taylor Art Center. That was originally the public library for what was then Elizabeth City County.
Boy, if that was Elizabeth City County, the town limits were really small then. I think of that as being part of the core downtown, and I think it is now in the downtown boundary and in the Arts District boundary, but it wasn't then.
That's right. Yeah.
So the library system has changed a lot over the years. You way outgrew that location and moved to the new building next door. But talk a little bit about the library's history.
Well, I guess that would be me. I've been with the library for approximately 35 years full-time and 3 years part-time, so total of 38 years. I've seen the library evolve from using the old-fashioned card catalog that most millennials are not aware of.
What is that?
What is it?
Cards are virtual.
In a wooden box, wooden cabinet with a pull-out the drawer.
I love that.
Yeah, and the index cards, and now everything is automated and electronic, and it's just fast and breezy.
In fact, some of the library's users don't even come inside the library anymore. You have so much that you can do from home on your computer.
We have remote access for almost any function you want to do. You can even download your book onto electronic devices from home. So you don't actually have to come to the physical building. We want you to come, but you don't have to.
You don't have to. Mm-hmm. So what are you guys doing for your anniversary then?
Well, we're having a little reception in our special collections room on July 12th, and that's the actual anniversary date.
Okay.
So that's going to be from 2 to 4 p.m. In special collections at the main library. And that's also going to commemorate the opening of an exhibit that will be there for several months. And that will be displaying artifacts and documents and memorabilia from the library's history.
So those would include one of those old card catalog drawers.
There's one left.
Yes.
Really? Somebody saved one
We
back.
did.
Yeah.
What else will we see if we go to that exhibit?
There are a lot of newspaper clippings about things that were going on at the library and milestones that it reached. And there are things, sort of statistical things, like when the library opened, it had 3,200 books. By the 1960s, it was above 40,000, and now it has, 250,000. So
Wow.
you'll be able to get that sense of a long perspective that it's kind of easy to forget, just day to day when, we're all doing what we need to do. It's kind of nice to take a few minutes to sort of back up a little bit and see all the changes that have happened and all the development that has occurred through all those many years.
It really is. And when you stop and think, I was actually stunned, Valerie, when you just said you were the first woman who was the director and the first African American. But part of it is there haven't been that many. I mean, we've had library directors who have came and stayed and were there for a good long time, right?
Right. Believe it or not, the city of Hampton, the Hampton Public Library, we've only had 5 actual directors. Prior to having directors, there were librarians. So
And like individual management at each of the locations.
yes, but there were not.
And you headed up one of those.
Yes, I did. Well, a couple of them. But the actual directors, we've had 5. We had Michael Pipkin, Howard Ogden, Douglas Perry, Robin Carpenter, and now yours truly, Valerie Gardner. So those are the only 5 library directors in the history of the Hampton Public Library.
I think when you said Hampton was the first public free county library in the state of Virginia, we have a lot of firsts in Hampton. And because we have so many, people kind of forget them or they don't stand out. But that's a big one. I mean, when you think 90 years ago, what a public library meant to people, it was probably their source of newspapers, you know, like in print that people used to read. If it wasn't the local newspaper, you know, you couldn't get them here, not very easily. And it would have been books, right? There wouldn't have been all of the media stuff that you guys have. And that's how kids did research. That's how kids, you know, I remember in my hometown riding my bike to the library to do research because, you know, I'm so old that we didn't have the internets and all that cool stuff back in the day. But it was a real lifeline for a community.
Absolutely.
Now, I would say it's a lifeline now, but it's really different, right?
It is different.
It is still a lifeline, but the way it serves that function has changed many times and will keep going. It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
I mean, it's very multimedia. You can get books on your electronic device. You can get music, DVDs, videos. I mean, explain to me what the different uses are when people walk in to the main library today. What are they looking for?
You know, anyone who walks in, they sort of create the library themselves because it just depends on what they are looking for and then what they end up finding. Because sometimes that can be something you totally didn't expect. The serendipity of browsing, whether it's in person or online or just finding things or just talking to a staff member about whatever you're looking for. It's really neat to see where a search will take someone. And so lots and lots of people check out DVDs. They're our highest circulating item.
Really?
Many people check those out. So we try to keep those as up to date as we can. A really fast moving collection. We get the new movies really quickly. And we'll get multiple copies. If people are putting them on hold, we'll make sure to try to have enough. And a lot of people come in to use the internet.
That's huge.
Yeah, we've actually had free internet access since 1996, which is, I mean, I remember the internet in 1996, and it's like, I'm not sure I'd want to hang out there.
Now, back then you had to probably plug in. It probably wasn't Wi-Fi.
Yep,
you have
there was no
Wi-Fi now. So if people bring in their own device, they can use the internet. But you also have public computers.
Yes.
And hopefully we're upgrading them a little bit here very soon.
Yes.
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard to keep up with technology. It just moves so quickly. But we'll always try to have stuff that people need and that they can use and that they enjoy using.
So it is for education, it is for fun, it is for recreation. And you guys are also a center of activity. So you have, it's not just solitary reading, you have book clubs, you have book to movie, you have a lot of stuff for kids. Just touch a little bit on some of those.
Well, the children's events are some of our most well attended. In fact, Ms. Gardner and I were just talking about how there was a magician at the main library yesterday as a way to help open our summer reading program, Read for the Win, and there were 150 children there. And I'm sorry I missed it because he had a bunny. And so if there's a bunny around, I want to be there, but unfortunately I couldn't. But a lot of our children's events, so many people come, and I think being a center of community is kind of where we're going right now. It's just a place where something cool might happen and something fun might be going on, and it's fun for all ages. I think Superhero Day is a good example. We do that every year in early April, and it's been so nice to see the past few years. The kids dress up, and the adults dress up, and the staff dresses up, and everyone has the exact same amount of fun. It's really great.
So it keeps you a little bit young at heart, is that right? You've been there for a while. Keep you young at heart?
Oh, absolutely. And another program that we've started for the adults is adult coloring program. It's an adult coloring club, and you would be surprised how, I believe they've had 2 meetings. Both meetings have been well attended, and it's just a way to relax, and the adults are having a good time. They're chit-chatting, they're getting to know each other, and it's really very lively. And
you guys really
relaxing.
have your pulse on those new trends, like the whole adult coloring thing. It escapes me a little bit, but it's huge, and I know it's huge. I see it everywhere. It's advertised, and people are talking about it. It's, I don't know, it's like the easy, quick sand mandala or something, but where you're doing something that with the other side of your brain and all that.
Right.
Yeah, one thing I liked about it was that, of course, I always love to see the patrons that I know and that come to a lot of events. It's always great to see the people that I know, but it's always great as well to see new faces. And each adult program that we do kind of has its own core group. And so I like to see the way different things will appeal to different people. and we're not just kind of playing to the same crowd over and over.
That is interesting, because a lot of, you think of a stereotype maybe with the library, it's an older person or it's somebody who comes in when the kids are little, but you really reach all audiences.
We're trying, definitely trying, from birth right on through, the senior years. We want to provide something for everybody and make it relevant.
Okay, is there anything you guys want to add about the anniversary, about the library before we close?
Well, next year, the main library building, the large one at 4207 Victoria Boulevard, that building will turn 30 next year. And
Holy
so that's
cow.
another milestone
That dates
for
me,
us.
because I remember when we were in the other building.
Well, the exhibit will be up at least until then to commemorate the new building, and so we hope people will have time to come see our exhibit.
That sounds great. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for watching. I hope if you are not a regular visitor to the library that you will stay up with some of the events and go back and visit, check out the exhibit, and really reflect on what libraries used to be, what they are today, and how much of that is similar and how much of that has changed. Thank you for watching.